Barbecue. Welcome, everybody, to a very special bonus episode of Boost, Booze, and Barbecue.
Bonus!
This is Andy.
And this is JoJo.
And if you guys couldn't tell, we are coming to you from a racetrack. We are at PIR, Portland International Raceway.
That beautiful humming sound you hear in the microphone, that is race cars.
That's right.
Yeah.
It looks to me like we've got some BMWs going around the track and a lot of E30s.
Yeah.
And they just finished running some type of an open wheel class. I was hearing Honda motors.
Yeah.
I was hearing bike motors.
Yeah.
I was hearing what sounded like Ford, like a 2-liter dual overhead cam.
Oh, that's specific.
Quite a very eclectic mix of
that
vehicles
was cool.
in here.
I actually got about 30 seconds or so of video of those particular cars, and I posted it on my Instagram feed at The Real Joe Francisco, so find that there.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we, of course, you showed up here early because you're actually doing the autocross.
Yes.
With, who's putting this one on?
So this is Bridge City Autosports. They're a newer club in the Portland, Oregon area, and a club that I've been really, really happy with. This is my second year running with them. The guys that are kind of in charge here used to run all of the events for the Oregon Region Porsche Club.
Oh, yeah.
And the Oregon Region Porsche Club a couple years ago kind of decided they wanted to dial back a bit on their autocrossing and kind of focus more on
parking
or like kind of short back road type drives and that kind of thing, which is totally fine. I mean, they're a Porsche club.
Sure.
That seems relevant for them. So anyway, so the guys that were running the show were like, well, we want to keep autocrossing like a lot, so we're going to build our own club, and we're going to call it Bridge City Autosports. And they have a really great setup. They've got great equipment. They break their classes into super classes, so it's actually makes it a little bit more competitive. For me, it makes it almost every once in a while it can almost be a little bit impossible for me to compete, because in a standard SCCA classed autocross, I would be in STX and running against all the other STX cars. But at a BCA event, I'm in a super class, so I'm running also against STU and I believe STS maybe, and there might be like one or two more that we're all kind of grouped together into this super class. So as long as there aren't any STU cars that show up, I usually do pretty good.
The once in a while that an STS Miata shows up, then you're not doing
so
quite
much.
so well. Yeah.
No.
But I get that.
But at the same time, so the other side of that coin is because they're not breaking everybody up into the regular SCCA classes, where most autocross clubs, if you're familiar, they'll have 2 run groups in the morning, they'll break for lunch, and then they'll have 2 completely different run groups in the afternoon. So depending on which run group you're in, you're either racing just in the morning or you're racing just in the afternoon, and you're probably going to get about 4 passes on average. So the way they do it here with Bridge City is with the super classes, they're able to break the entire field up into as close to equal as possible 3 groups. And you're either driving, working the course, or you're resting. And it can be in, whatever order. So work, run, rest, rest, run, work, or work, rest, run, or something like that. So so you still get a break at one point during the day. And because they're not breaking in the middle of the day and like shutting everything down for an hour for lunch or anything like that, you end up getting more like 8 passes. So you're basically doing 2 events in one day, and we're usually done and everybody's had their 8 runs and swapped their tires back or whatever by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's like unheard of in autocross.
Well, and it hasn't killed your whole day. I love that.
No, yeah, it's awesome. So that is the main reason why I am so enamored with this Bridge City Autosports Club, because I feel like I can get 2 days worth of autocrossing done in, a little over half of a day.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And what an eclectic mix of cars here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've got Mustangs, we've got Porsches, we've got some Miatas. A couple of guys brought out their muscle trucks. One of them looks like a
couple C10s.
Yeah, a couple C10s. One's maybe like a 61, 62, 63, and one's it looks like about a 70. And really cool looking trucks, though. And both of those guys actually performed pretty well. I was impressed.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It was an interesting story about the one particular truck. You guys can find him at #ArmyTruck on Instagram. He's a pretty cool guy. He works for PRE and Rally Tech up here in Portland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His name is Scott. And I actually, was it last summer? Yeah, last summer, I was at a Cars and Coffee at the World of Speed Museum in Wilsonville, and I started taking pictures of this really cool C10 step-side pickup, and it had like U.S. Army kind of stenciled on the side, and I was like, that's a really cool looking truck. You know, it was lowered, had big old fat tires on it, it was LS swapped, so I took pictures of it at the event, and like 2 days later, he starts messaging Bridge City Autosports on Facebook, posting stuff on their page about, hey, I want to get into autocrossing. So I replied to him with a photo I had taken of his truck, and I was like, come on out. Like,
that's
I saw
awesome.
your truck at Cars and Coffee. I think it's really cool. You definitely need to autocross it. And he started coming out, and he's done lots of stuff on the suspension, but he kind of figured out today that it's still not quite enough.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
It's got power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's got power. Oh, I just noticed that we don't have the racing going on in the back.
Oh, yeah, they must have paused. They must be switching classes or something like that. It's been kind of on and off all day.
You know what? I saw the tow truck drive past, and now I just saw a truck pulling with a strap another car. So,
oh, there's your answer.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody scattered some parts.
I hope not.
They're watering the pavement with a little coolant and oil.
Yikes.
So we hit up Portland Cars and Coffee before we came here.
Yes, you did.
And it was a really fun showing.
Yeah.
We got there. You know, it's one of those things where you really have to get there early if you want to see absolutely everything. Because Cars and Coffee is not the event of the day.
No.
It's the event you go to meet up with people who are then going to go to the event of the day with you. So most people, they roll in for half an hour. Okay, the crew's all here. We're rolling out, you know. So you got to get there early. We did not get there particularly early.
Ooh, yeah.
but there were still plenty of really neat looking cars.
Great.
And I got a bunch of photos, and I talked to a few people who were taking photos, and I said, hey, if you guys want, you know, kick us over your photos, and we'll go ahead and host them on boostboostbbq.com.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And we've been working on a little format change with the website, so be looking forward to that here pretty soon.
Yep.
And I love the Portland Cars and Coffee. I love going to it right there at the World of Speed.
Oh, it's great.
Because I already love the World of Speed, so now you're rolling in like two things that I love.
Yeah, it's like, and for us, we're members at World of Speed, so we get free entry. So we show up for Cars and Coffee. There's one car show, and then when you're done, you go into the museum, and it's another car show. Two car shows.
My wife was so funny because at some point she said, hey, I have to run inside and use the bathroom. So she runs inside, and she's away for quite a while, and she comes back with this big ear-to-ear grin, and I say, hey, how are you doing? And she goes, good. I went inside to see my girlfriend. She's got this 959 Porsche that's on display right now that she's absolutely in love with.
Oh, who wouldn't be?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'd take a 959 over me any day. But very fun, very cool.
Yeah.
I love talking to people there. You know, that's. I think that's right up there as far as reasons to go to Cars and Coffee. It's not just about seeing the cool cars. It's about talking to people because most everybody that's there, not everybody, But most everybody that's there wants to sit and talk about their cars and talk cars and, hey, what do you drive? And they want to talk about it, and it's a very communal thing. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's my kind of crowd right there. You want to talk about cars? Let's talk about cars.
That's right. When I was standing over here getting a little bit of video footage of your runs, I was talking to a couple of guys that were obviously working the course after doing their runs, and just some really neat people. One of them had one of these cool muscle trucks, and another one of them had a first-gen DSM that he's driving, an Eclipse / Talon.
Yeah, he was right behind me in grid for a little while. Yeah.
Real nice guy and super cool car. I love those first-gen
me too.
DSMs.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Diamond Star Motors.
Yeah.
Boy, talk about a flashback, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when our parents talk about Plymouth K-Car or something.
Right. Wow.
For anybody that doesn't know, Diamond Star Motors used to be the Dodge, Plymouth, Mitsubishi joint venture. That's kind of how Mitsubishi broke into the American market. It's a little slice of history every time you see one of those cars.
Yeah, it's funny to think about those things. On my way up here this morning, I passed a Saturn on the freeway, and I don't even know the last time I actually saw a Saturn out on the road. I mean, I know they're still out there. Hasn't been that long since GM cut the cord on that. But it's really interesting how the automotive industry fluctuates like that.
And Saturns were revolutionary. People said that that's just how cars were going to be. That's the new type of car, the all-plastic body, and that's just the way it is because plastic is so much cheaper and it's safer and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you know, you have to at some point take into account the cost of all the tooling and molding and things. And if you don't sell just a bazillion of the cars, then there is no cost effectiveness.
Yeah, I think, in fact, the CFO, I think, was like under oath quoted as saying something along the lines of, I have no idea if Saturn is making money or not.
He wasn't lying.
No?
Nope. That's hilarious. It's a lot like the Chevy Avalanche. Those plastic sides that were supposed to be, oh, hey, you know, scrape these up, and then you just pop them off and replace them. But then those plastic sides ended up costing as much as a body panel or as much as a respray.
Yeah.
So the cost effectiveness is all about numbers. You used to have an Avalanche for a little while, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, my husband drove a Chevy Avalanche for a little while, and I got to tell you, in the snow, like we had a really big snowstorm hit a couple winters ago, or probably more than that actually. But that truck would not quit in the snow. It would just, and I think it's because it was just so freaking heavy.
Really?
Yeah, that thing was just, it would just plowed us around town. We drove clear out to my parents were living like 15 miles outside of Salem, and there was power outages everywhere, and we were taking coolers of water around and delivering them to certain people, and because we could just go. It didn't matter for us.
That's awesome. Oh, what was your favorite car here from today? Besides yours.
Do I have to pick one? Can I pick a couple?
Pick a couple, okay, but they can't be yours.
Okay. So, first of all, that Porsche GT3, 911 GT3.
Yes.
I was actually working the course while it was running, and that car was just like, what cones? I don't see any cones. I'm just gonna follow this line and not hit a single cone the entire time because I do what I want.
That car was giving me flashbacks, though.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
For those of you who aren't from the area or aren't quite as old as we are, gosh, this had to have been 13 years ago? 14 years ago?
Let's see. Yeah, probably about 12 or 13 years ago.
I'll have to see if I can find some photos because they're around. Yeah. I even took a few.
I took photos, but that was on like a really, really old cell phone. I have no idea. They're gone.
You guys, what we're talking about is, here's the short version. Somebody brought their trailered Porsche GT3 out to an autocross event just to kind of have fun and to show off. And someone who was very fast in their automatic Corvette was offered to drive that Porsche, and an automatic Corvette has 2 pedals.
Right.
And this gentleman was used to using both feet, one on the gas and one on the brake.
Mm-hmm.
And then he jumped in this Porsche GT3, which was a manual.
Mm-hmm.
And not that he couldn't drive a manual, but you're used to a very wide pedal that you've got your left foot on.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out that the very wide pedal he had his left foot on was the clutch. So when he was going, 60 miles an hour through the finish line, he smashed his left foot down onto the clutch, and the car smashed into a row of parked cars, some of them racers and some of them just spectators.
Yep. It almost involved my car. There was a car parked like a full space width away from mine. And when I came walking around the corner of the building after I heard this horrific noise, that same car was now about a foot away from mine.
And you would have thought that she was the one driving the Porsche because she was just so traumatized.
Yeah.
Nothing hit her car,
no.
But she was just like, look at how close you got to hitting my car.
Well, when I came around the corner, all I could see was my spoiler, like the top of my spoiler sticking up behind this, I think it was an Audi wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like they were touching.
Yeah.
And so one of our friends that was here with us, he immediately came running up to me going, your car's okay, your car's okay. And apparently like the blood just drained from my face. And I just started shaking. And
that's so funny.
Yeah. I may or may not have an unhealthy emotional attachment to my car. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's one of the two, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Gosh, our friend, his Celica, he had this really nice tricked out Celica GTS. It was very quick for what it was, and he's a great driver. But that car took the brunt of the Porsche.
It was bad. I remember it was facing one direction, and after the Porsche hit it, it was facing 180 degrees the opposite direction.
And it was also clamshelled.
Yes.
Yeah, it was basically tacoed, like the rear axle was pushed forward into the car.
Yeah.
I think he had a hard time getting the doors open. Like it just completely accordioned his car.
Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. I felt so terrible for him.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah. But for all of you out there who are not autocrossing, but considering autocrossing, please keep in mind that this is the worst accident that Andy and I have ever seen at an autocross, and we've been doing this for 14 years. So they are very few and far between. It's pretty much just really safe for the most part.
Well, and if you're ever looking at a course thinking, the finish line exits out into where cars are parked, that may not be a great idea. Feel free to say something to somebody.
Yeah, or just don't park there. Park at the other end.
I wouldn't be all douchey about it if I were you. But just, if you've got a concern, say something. Nobody's going to mind.
Yeah, the people that run these events are incredibly safety conscious, and they welcome any constructive input that you want to give them. Because their ultimate goal is to have a great time, and if people can't be safe, they're not going to have a great time. So it goes hand in hand.
That's right. Yeah. And if they're not safe, they lose their insurance, and now we're not doing autocrosses anymore. Exactly.
So it really is in their best interest, and they know it.
Exactly. So, yeah. Well, I can't thank BCA enough for putting on this awesome event, and PRE for their setup. Class that they had yesterday. Yeah,
that was awesome. So I went
How was that?
It was so good. And this is actually the second time I've attended the same seminar, and I'm really glad I went a second time, because even though he was covering the same material, there were little bits and pieces here and there that I either didn't pick up on last time, or maybe he didn't quite share in the same way the last time. So I feel like I learned new stuff, even though it was the exact same material. So I'm really, really glad I went. Zach Morgan is the one who put on the seminar at PRE. That's Performance Race Engineering in Portland. And he's got credentials out the wazoo. I mean, this guy, he can drive, he can build, he's incredibly intelligent. So he was the one presenting all the material, and he gave us so many great tips. First off, tires. tires are huge when you're autocrossing. You've got to have good tires, and not just a good tire, but a good tire for your car.
Right.
Then he went into all the differences between different types of suspension, different types of adjustable suspension, and what if your car's front wheel drive, what if your car's rear wheel drive, what if your car's all wheel drive. He went through everything. So by the end of the seminar, I think we were there for a couple hours. By the end of it, me and another guy that I've autocrossed with for years were walking out the front doors, and I was like, my head is kind of spinning. And he's like, yeah, my brain is definitely full. But so we had the seminar last night, and then we show up here this morning, and Zach is here at the track, and he brought another really well-credentialed co-worker / friend of his, and they were here all morning long, riding in people's cars, giving us tips as far as, turn your dampers up, turn them down, add tire pressure, reduce tire pressure. And it was so incredibly helpful because I do have brand new suspension on my car this year.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, you're taking the class for the second time, but you've got a whole new tool set. That's
right. I've got a whole new setup. So there were different things that I was listening for this time compared to the last time. And during the test and tune today, Zach was incredibly helpful and willing to help, first of all. So shout out to Zach for that. But so I tried several different things. He would tell people, try something you would never try because it's just a test and tune. Like if you go slower, nobody cares. At least you know that that's not going to work for you.
And you're getting so many runs. Yeah. You have a chance to play around and practice.
Yeah, I think I got like 12 runs today.
Oh, 12 or 14. Awesome.
Yeah. And that was just within like a few hours this morning.
I'm super jealous. I need to find myself something and start racing with you more.
You do. I'm looking at this blue Hyundai Elantra that's parked pretty nearby that I believe you arove in today.
Yeah.
Arove?
Something like that.
Anyway, just saying.
It's the wife's car. You got to talk to her.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
If we had brought my pickup, I'd be down. Well, I started talking to a fella. He's got a black and tan Miata. And I walked over and I was like, oh, man, black and tan. I love it because we just got rid of that 99 black and tan. And technically that was my wife's car, but we both enjoyed it, you know. And I said, I got the bug because I've had 2 Miatas and my wife has had 1 Miata. And he looked at me just straight up dead in the face and he goes, this is my 5th Miata. I can't get away from them.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in.
Wow. I believe it. I feel like they've got a little bit of a pull on anyone who's ever been around autocrossing.
Yep.
There's always that just like whisper on the wind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or road racing.
Yeah.
Anything that involves a car being fast around the corners, pretty much everyone has pined after a Miata at some point.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm kind of at a certain commitment level with my car, having put this new suspension on it. So I'm definitely gonna stick with it.
The more you do to that car, though, the harder it's going to be when you finally do transition into a Miata. I'm just saying.
I know. it's inevitable. I need to just accept it.
It's fine. I'm not saying get rid of your car.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you might want to add a Miata to the fleet and then just see which one ends up going to the track more.
That's true. Or I could just get a really big truck and a really big trailer and take them both.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I honestly have been looking at Mazda Speed Miatas because I want that little extra bump in horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to go straight into a modified class if I do a supercharger or a turbocharger on a car. Because the Mazda Speed Miata is factory turbocharged, and so it falls into its own class. Even bone stock.
Right.
It can fall into a stock class, and it's a very quick and capable car. So I've kind of been looking that way. But I don't know. It's just all going to depend. If I do end up finding like a 94 or 95 that I just fall in love with, then I'll just do that, and I'll get a, I don't know, supercharger du jour.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when Flying Miata was making their Uber chargers. They had a system that would produce up to, I want to say it was 16 or 18 pounds of boost.
Oh.
It was a big supercharger.
Yeah.
And it made as much power as their turbochargers. So we're talking very near 300 horse.
Wow.
And it's 260, 270 maybe.
Oh, okay.
But somewhere between 250 and 300 being very achievable with a few more bolt-ons and a tune.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I remember when that supercharger came out, I was just like, I may need to do one of those.
Yeah.
Because it's the old cliche. The supercharger on an engine just makes the engine feel bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're producing a very linear boost, and so you're producing a very linear power band. And, whereas the turbo, it's either on or not on when you have a big turbo.
Right.
And it's either on or not on, but lower in the RPM with a smaller turbo.
Right.
So I definitely could see myself ending up with a supercharged Miata at some point, but, it's just wherever the winds take me. It really just depends on what happens with, where we're at and just life in general. And of course, the podcast. We're trying to get this off of the ground and get it going. And we've been investing a lot of time and money into getting it going. And I hope you guys are appreciative of that. And if you are, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Facebook.com/BoostBoostBBQ. Of course, our Instagram and Twitter are BoostBoostBBQ. Joe, you've got different handles.
Yeah, on Instagram, I am The Real Joe Francisco, at The Real Joe Francisco. And on Twitter, I am at Joe Francisco.
There it is. You can find everything that we're doing. We try to keep the photos and videos rolling. And I hope that you guys are having a good time listening in. We can be found, of course, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. If you hit our website, you can just click on our widget and it plays right from the website. And it doesn't matter if you're on mobile. All of your mobile controls work straight from our website. It's really cool, really awesome. So go over and check that out. Give us a share if you think of somebody who might like to hear what we're doing. Go ahead and just share it. Say, hey, we got these awesome people that we're listening to, Andy and Joe over at Boost Booze and Barbecue, and we just are enamored with listening to them. Their voices are like liquid gold rolling through our ears. Or something, use your own verbiage.
Or something.
And speaking of which, I hope everybody enjoyed that Thirsty Thursday video with Chris from Spiritopia. Chris Beatty, such a nice guy, had us over to his tasting room. We hung out, we did a show, we did a quick video. His show is going to be coming up this coming Wednesday, so make sure you tune in for that because it's a really cool one. We didn't even get into car stuff.
No.
We totally skipped over the fact that he was born in Detroit. He's a gearhead. His brothers are gearheads. Yeah, we didn't get to talk about any of that.
We were just having way too much fun talking about his liqueurs.
Yeah. Well, sometime later in the year, we're going to catch back up to him. We're going to talk more biofuel.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more automotive innovation. The guy is just a wealth of knowledge. So listen in. Look forward to that. We had a great time with him. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Jojo, thanks so much for doing what you do. Congratulations on doing a great race today.
Thanks.
And all you listeners, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit up the photos. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Send us your comments, questions, and concerns, and we will address them on the air. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Boost Booze and Barbecue.